James with Rowe-Thrush. Welcome to the Rowe-Thrush Solution Selling Show, the podcast that we do for the Grainger sales force to help educate you on our suppliers. We bring on our suppliers and interview them, asking them questions that we feel would help you when you're out there in the field with your customers. And the guest today on our show is Foster Manufacturing. With that, I'm going to bring on Dave and Holly and introduce them to our show. All right, welcome Dave and Holly to the show. Thank you so much for taking a lot of time out of your day, or a little bit of time out of your day, to join us here on our show.
Hey James, good to see you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Real quick, if we could do some quick introductions, if you could just tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do at Foster.
Yeah. So I'm Holly Fender. I've worked with Foster Manufacturing going on 28 years this October. I actually was an assembler out here in the factory for 7 years before coming into customer service and then transitioning into an inside-outside sales role. I've enjoyed working with the company this entire time. I've learned a lot from my cohort, Dave, here. But yeah, it's been fun seeing the facility grow from a smaller company all up to what we've had today.
Wow, 28 years. That is a long time. You must know where all the skeletons are hidden within the facility.
Yes, I know where the basement is in the facility. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. She's got half his body in the basement.
So Dave, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been with Foster and what is it that you do there?
Okay, in the 10th year of being with Foster Manufacturing, the facility is located here in Springfield, Missouri. Today, president of the Flow Connections group within Ideal Trident. Ideal Trident is headquartered just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm sure we'll dive in a little bit later how we came into that family.
Excellent. Thank you for introducing yourselves. I do have one more question that I always like to ask our guests. It's our fun question that we change each and every year. And this year's fun question is, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you want to travel and why?
Oh, man. Let's see. I'm not a world traveler. The most traveling I've done has been this year, or actually the last couple of years traveling for Foster, or sports. But I think I would say probably Hawaii. I think it would be cool to see their culture, the volcanoes, just seeing everything that they have to offer, from the plants, the water, to just the food even as well. I think that would be really neat. Just go walk around the facilities and just see everything there is to be on the Hawaiian Islands.
You want to go dancing?
I don't know if I can do pulling that off. I might break a hip. But yeah, just the culture itself seems really interesting to me.
Right.
Are you interested in surfing at all or anything?
I'm not so much the water type person. The waves knock you down, and I don't feel like drowning that day. But yeah, just maybe ankle deep, just having the sand in my toes, that type of thing. I think that's what's the fun part of it.
Yeah,
maybe even do a flower delay when you get to the off the airplane and the airport. Getting the flower delay would be pretty fun.
Right. Very good.
Yeah, I look forward to one day being able to go to Hawaii myself. I know lots of people that have gone, and it seems like it's one of those places that you'll never forget when you do go. So I hope you get to go sometime soon.
I'm hoping. I think I have a customer down there that I could visit.
There you go. Bill it to the company. So, Dave?
I'm torn between either Portugal or Croatia. I think it would be interesting to see Portugal there on the ocean, being able to carve out its own territory from Spain, what they share in similarity, what might be different. And then Croatia, just interesting, the different castles I've seen, the difference in terrain, their culture, the music that goes with it. Yeah, I just think it would be unique experiences.
I thought you was going to say go visit every one of the Ideal Trident locations that we have across the United States.
I do that within 1 month. Rinse and repeat 12 times a year. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Portugal, there a lot of Americans tend to go and retire or like to visit there. And actually, my sister and her husband, they actually lived there for, I think it was like about a month, because they were talking about possibly retiring there themselves. And after they lived there for over the summer, they kind of realized, no, this isn't really the place for us. So I'm kind of glad that they tried it out before they decided to pick up everything and move to, the other side of the world almost before doing that. So definitely a great location to pick. And like I said, it seems like a lot of Americans like to go there, and they're very friendly with Americans as well in Portugal. At least that's what I've heard.
Right. All right.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. Appreciate that. Now, if you could get into the introduction of who Foster is, as well as the parent company of Foster.
Okay.
Sure. So Foster Manufacturing is a 79-year-old company. We're still spring chickens, I think. We started here in Springfield, Missouri. We've actually been on this section of town pretty much the entire time. We've been in 2 buildings. We've been in this one probably the longest. We still use the same equipment from the original gentleman that started our company. So all of our fittings are made on some of the original machinery that was started when he started and developed the company. I know Dave can explain a little bit more about how we transitioned into private equity within the Foster company.
We do have modern equipment.
We do have modern equipment as well. But yes, but like we said before, possibly, why fix things that aren't broke? We've got 30, 40-year-old fittings out there in the plant right now that we use every single day. So
yeah.
That says a lot right there. The fact that your products are that durable and long lasting. That's something to maybe mention a little bit later when we ask about cost savings. You have products that last a long time.
Yeah.
A few years ago, didn't we do a contest, the oldest?
We was trying to find, I think we found one that was roughly the late 50s, I think, of
That's
a fitting
what I thought.
that was
59,
out being used.
1959, still in use. So Foster Manufacturing, when it became owned by private equity, at that time they also owned ZSI, and that's how it came together as ZSI Foster. And then in the summer of 2019, Ideal Tridon, which is headquartered just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, acquired ZSI Foster. And as they've added other business units to the portfolio, we structured within 3 legs within the business. So we say engineered components that support, secure, connect. As stated earlier, president of the Flow Connections division, which has Foster Manufacturing in there.
Excellent. Thank you for covering all of that. Now that we're done with the introduction part, would like to talk about the different customer types that would be interested in Foster branded products.
The Foster branded products could be from just your average Joe using a shop air compressor in their home. Even a pressure washer at home is going to have some type of Foster type fitting on those applications. We can go all the way up to aerospace. We can go agriculture. We can go into pharmaceutical, food and beverage. We actually have an amazing chart on our website that actually breaks down all of the different options and uses for our products. So every time that we find a new category, we jot that down so that way anybody can go to our website, take a look at that and say, oh, I didn't even think about that type of application. Oh, they carry something like that that can help with what I'm needing. So we are kind of a one-stop shop when it comes across the board of all the different product lines and applications out in the field.
Right. So this matrix document Holly's referring to, we've taken the different market segments. I think we're up to 26 different ones as columns. And then the rows would be the product series. And we'll share a little bit later the different materials, the different seals, the different features and options, whether it be for safety. And that's what attracted me with Quick Connects is most people just think of it as a simple commodity product that's used in garages or hand tools. And as Holly mentioned, we've been in food and beverage for dairy, filling milk into containers. We've been in aerospace, you mentioned. So the hydraulics clutch to hold a rocket before it launches. We've been in the medical, so the coolant, whether it's heated or cooled, to regulate a body temperature before or after surgery. So it's very diverse, the different applications we've been in. And that's probably why Foster's had such a strong legacy over the 79 years, because we're more about the application than making our product fit. And so we've come in quite a few different variations and customization of it.
You know, most, at least myself, and I think most people wouldn't really think that these types of products would have a fit in the healthcare industry. That's amazing that you have that matrix available, and we'll go over that here in a little bit. So just hang tight to see that and where to access that. What types of customer business issues, or CBIs, can your products help solve for customers?
Sure. So as Dave mentioned earlier, safety is one of our biggest. We want to prevent accidents, accidental disconnects. We offer ball lock, safety lock type features. Not only that, what about that guy dragging his hose down along the ground and it gets caught on the corner of a table leg and gets disconnected? What if that was something very liable on the other end that he was needing to, use an air tool and now it comes disconnected? So those sleeve guard type fittings is something that, we have out there that you can have multiple different types of connections to help within the application of safety. Our blowguns, things like that you're using and for clearing debris off of certain things. I don't know.
Your work surfaces,
your
clothing.
Yeah, things like that. Not only that, our different types of valving systems can help relieve and shut off, preventing hose whips, and even just actually ending an air supply line so that way you don't have air leaks, things like that. That's probably one of the number one things is in factories and even home use. A kink in a line that's got a split in your hose that's causing you an air leak. That's cost savings right there if you can find where that portion is in your hose or the application to actually stop the air leaks.
Right. Yeah, we've been in multiple facilities if they're on break or end of shift, and you'll just hear the air compressor running. And there are leaks throughout the facility. And so our products are designed to shut off point of use or to capture the air, or we offer different types of end connections that go beyond, say, a standard hose clamp for a push-on hose barb and maybe good for a couple hundred PSI, to where we have a reusable fitting, much larger pressure-rated applications, because there's failure at that joint or that connection between the fitting and the hose because of an improper bend radius. And so this is the ability to repair in the field for a total lower cost rather than taking that assembly and replacing the entire thing.
Sure, and I just thought of another one. Fatigue for the actual operator. We have manual and automatic type couplers. If you've got an operator that's coupling a staple gun 1 minute, a blowgun next, they're just going back and forth and they only got one airline hose, that's manual couplers you're pulling back and inserting. We offer an automatic, which is simply just a push to connect, and then they can do that application. They can quickly disconnect, move to the next tool. We have swivel fittings that way it can actually rotate instead of being a hard fixed item from an actual end connection that can swivel it around, so that way you have free movement. You'll see those in like car washes, things like that as well. So there's just different applications that can help within companies' application.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we got cost savings, we got ergonomics, we have safety, which is a big one, and I think also a little bit of productivity too, as Holly was mentioning, being able to quickly connect your air tool to it with the automatic push to connect. That might, over time, it might take a while, but that might help increase productivity as well.
Yeah, and I think with that, we were talking just the other day, I had a general contractor rental customer. It's like, hey, we've got these rental air compressors out in the field, and we're having a lot of issues because the different tools that the people are using don't couple up. One of the things that we suggested is one of our new tools, Dave, our universal high flow, where it actually accepts all the different profiles all in one. We have the industrial, you have the TrueFlate and the Aero design. Not only that, we're getting a lot of equipment coming in from Europe that's going to have European type flight. We also made that particular fitting to accept the European high flow type plug. So now you have one unit that can actually accept multiple styles of fittings. That alleviates having 4 or 5 different products all on one hose.
4 or 5 different sockets, right? Yeah.
Very cool. And also, when it comes to cost savings, as you mentioned, you have some couplers that are in your factory that are 50 plus years old. So the fact that you have longevity, durable product, that can help save money over time because they're not having to change them out often. They're not leaking or going faulty or anything like that over a period of time. You make a high quality product.
Very low number of returns.
That is correct.
Keep a clean product because we know debris or contaminant in a line could be an issue. So we are very diligent about removing chips in our product as well before shipping.
So our next question, putting on your Grainger hat, you walk into a customer facility, what should you be looking for? Who should you be talking to? And what types of questions should you be asking them in order to sell Foster products?
I think we always want to go back to the safety. You know, do you have any safety issues or anything like that? Recent safety, ergonomics, because that right there can hurt a company. You know, the liability of having the wrong fitting out there from the beginning, for sure.
Or OSHA fines.
Or OSHA fines, yes. I mean, no company wants an OSHA representative come to their facility.
Right. I'd kind of look for as well. If there's a 5S initiative, because if they want everything in its own place or they're minimizing, let's say they're using more hydraulic fluids and they don't want it to spill because it creates a slippery surface. So they might be interested in the flat face offering. There might be similar QD, but they might have nitrogen or air or argon,
trying to keep
carbon
different
dioxide,
lines.
right? And so we want to talk about the color coding that could be used. We might be able to flip or keyway so that they can't cross the lines as well.
I think another one too is I'm walking through a facility. If I see multiple brands, I like to point out, you know, we have such a big breadth of products. You know, have you ever thought about just either using one manufacturer or slimming down? Like we showed with that one fitting, you have that different option of having one fitting take care of multiple profiles. You don't have to have that many lines of access for purchasing. So that's another good one as well.
Yeah, I'll use that as a segue because I think too, if they're seeing their fittings fail quicker than they expected, or say it the other way, they expected it to last longer, it might be that there's a seal compatibility issue with the fluid or the temperature. And so they're just using a standard Buna N, and it might be better for an EPDM or a Viton or a CalRes, depending if they really get high with the temperature. So we want to explore what the temperature is, what the fluid or the media is, if there's any side loads, pressure spikes, vibration. These are different things that go into the selection of the Quick Connect.
When you actually call our customer service team, that's some of the information that an end user would come in and call and ask, you know, what size are you, like, what's the application, what's the media, you know, those pertinent information and that we need to help identify the actual proper fitting that you would need. There's a lot of people that say, I just need a 1/4 inch QD. Well, that could be a lot of different fittings in our world, you know. If it's something that, you know, has hot water, you're not going to want a straight through for that fitting. So there's different avenues that we can ask the customers and even going into a plant to help eliminate, you know, the wrong QD selection.
Depending on the flow of the conversation, you'd ask about if there's been flow concerns. So I like to use that word in there twice for you, flow, yeah, or pressure. And so we might be unique in what we could do with the valve configurations to minimize a flow restriction, which creates a pressure drop. So equate it to the medical world. You always say, I need more suction. What, you know, okay, the equipment is your limiting factor. And so there might be things that we could do with the connector, the connection fitting, to help overcome some of these issues.
You know, I think I had somebody not too long ago saying, hey, I'm just not getting enough flow. Well, you're using a 1/4 inch body, but it's still a 1/4 inch body regardless of how big of the end is. You know, you're only going to get so much flow because it's a 1/4 inch. You know, and a lot of people don't realize that there's that different deviation on how to pick out parts, especially when it comes to pressure and the media and the flow.
Very helpful for the Grainger sales force. It sounds like a lot of this will help make sure that the customer gets the right product for their application, because like you said, depending on the temperature, depending on the pressure, you may want a different seal or a different material type. So it all depends. And this is great information to be able to help educate them when they go out and talk to their customers.
Another point with that too, James, if you don't mind, I know we talked about the resources within our catalog. There's also a back page where it talks about the different types of media and the actual materials. A lot of people don't realize that when you're using a hydraulic oil, there's a couple different types of hydraulic oil, a water base and an oil base, and they each one take a different type of media. A lot of people don't know that. Some people don't realize that you can only use brass or steel with certain types of chemicals too, because you might have a spark, diesel fuel, things like that. So we also want to make sure that we're promoting and having that out there, that a customer knows for safety concerns what the other materials are out there, or even help give guidance for the different sizes and the different material needed for applications.
So the theme here is application focus. So if we can know pressure, if you can know fluid compatibility, temperature, side loads, size, and any safety features.
That was a great segue right into the types of resources that you guys have available to the Grainger sales force. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to take us to the Foster website, which again, you could scan the QR code and that'll take you right to it. That way you can ensure that you are on the correct Foster website and not some other manufacturer or company or anything like that. Yeah. But I'll share my screen and then you guys just tell me what to go through as far as the resources.
All right, it looks like the screen is up now. You will see that Foster logo there in the top left-hand corner. That red banner is very popular, the big bright red banner. You'll know that you're on there. There's multiple tabs. You'll see that resource tab located there. Once that opens up, you're going to be able to view multiple items within this screen. You can click on our catalog. You'll be able to see profile drawings, that matrix that Dave was talking about. Not only that, you can also click on our CRN, our ISO certificate. There's a lot of information available right there on just that resources tab alone.
And in case the audience is not familiar, CRN is Canadian Registration Number. It's unique by province in Canada. It's related to product in pressure vessels, pressurized situations. So it's something that is required if they're selling within this market.
And also our ISO certificate as well there as well. I believe you can also contact us from there if you have any questions. But the industries that we are in, if you scroll through there, that's where David mentioned multiple of our agriculture, our food and bev, the pharmaceutical. A lot of people don't realize a quick disconnect can be in multiple avenues. You wouldn't think that one little QD would stretch across. I think there's one or two that actually go almost all of the products. That's kind of crazy to think that one little fitting can go across that many different functions.
This is why we make our engineering group available. So again, coming back to the application, they have their own CNC equipment for developing prototypes. They have their test equipment. We can near simulate the application, share the test results. But this is why the different materials, the different finishes, the different sizes, the different seals, because there's different applications.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great information here. We went through the different industries. You also have their literature library as well. You could also reach out to Rowe-Thrush and we can share with you some Graingerized literature for Foster, as well as the other brands that we rep into Grainger as well, ZSI and others. But lots of great information here that you could share with your customers nonetheless. If any of these products are not in Grainger's system, you could obviously go through Grainger sourcing with your customer and work through sourcing for those items as well. Are there any other resources that you guys wanted to cover today?
There's the flyers that are optional that if you might need to actually print off a flyer for the different functions and the pressure ratings. It's just a quick, easy handout. Anybody that's out in the field, when we're going into a facility, there's a lot of new products. We will actually print out that flyer to leave as just a quick guide for the application, especially if we know that is something that they are popular within that industry.
Do you have any new products that you want to cover?
Yes. We have and we haven't even talked about beta.
No.
But we have QDs for data centers. We have a thermal gas connect.
I think this one would be a great one to talk about since it's getting ready to be patio season where you're sitting out on the patio and everybody's got those little propane heaters. This particular fitting, if there's an issue when connected, that it actually has a shut off. So actually if you have any type of gas leak, is that correct, where it will actually melt this portion of the fitting and actually shut off, so that way you don't have any exposed propane. You're going to see these on those little patio heaters outside of the marketplaces. You'll see these on the fryers as well.
Gas grills.
Gas grills. They come with the application card in multiple languages. We sell these as sets and individual units because if you had an issue, you're going to have to replace this. I would say it's about a year and a half old. Not quite 2 years old.
That's a really great product, especially from a safety perspective. Last thing you want is a bunch of propane gas, leaking out into the air, especially if you're an outdoor restaurant and you have those heaters, like you said, or a grill, around the family or anything like that. So really cool safety product there. What is the name of that item?
This is going to be our thermal gas coupler. You can find that on the website under the thermal gas. We actually offer 3 different sizes of this fitting. The ones that I'm showing here are one of our larger sizes. This is the 1/2 inch. So we go quarter, 3/8, 3/8 and a half. Yes.
Not too many quarter. We just stock the 3/8 and a half.
3/8 and a half, which is the most popular size.
Okay, well, we'll have to talk later about proposing those into Grainger sometime. Any other new products that you want to talk about and go over the features?
One of our other additions to our Flow Connections group is our ACL product line, which is part of our food and bev and pharmaceutical division. We offer tri-clamps. We offer wingnut and peanut style clamps for your food and bev to secure the pipes together. We even have our pressure vessel type version for more of a safety type fitting for a high pressure line. All of these can be purchased here in the United States. We also have gaskets, other types of ferrules, other type of weld fittings to meet your food and bev and pharmaceutical needs. Data centers are really popular right now. I believe Dave's got a data center type fitting that we have developed as well.
Yeah, so within the data centers, this is more of the liquid cooled data centers. Mm-hmm. There could be city water, seawater. There could also be the glycol. The glycol typically specifies the pharmaceutical, and that's where we see the tri-clamps and the ferrules. And what is unique of ours, and I'm going to talk about product after I spoke of applications, but we coin our tri-clamps so that we can ensure the same amount of pressure around the entire circumference. And then with the other methods of cooling, seawater, city water, we do offer a flat face style as well as a straight through. So the flat face, if you're near the electronics, when you disconnect, you don't have to worry about spillage into the electronics and damaging. Okay, there can be some restriction of flow. You'll have a pressure drop. That's why we do offer a straight through version as well. But we do color code a red for the hot return line, blue for the cold line. So like many others, we're very much interested in the data centers and the opportunities it's presenting.
All right, now let's go over some products that are in Grainger already. So these are products that have Grainger SKUs assigned and some of our top sellers with Grainger.
We've seen similar with our beta series, one of the more popular series that Grainger does purchase. We injection mold the cushions here in Springfield. Our parent company does the plates. And then we have domestic or global sourcing for the bolts, depending on the cost. But this is to help keep your lines nice and neat, and control cabinets on the equipment.
Not only
Minimize pinch points and bend radius.
Yeah, not only do we offer these fittings in the twin and the single, they also hold tube, pipe, and hose. So we're not limited just to one style as well.
The other one, just to highlight in the product category, not necessarily new, but we do have a wide range of blowguns that are available, kind of what you were saying earlier about in the pneumatic. And this becomes a very popular product within Grainger. I think for all of CSI Foster, it's the highest volume item that's sold. So again, these are manufactured in Springfield, Missouri. We've been able to do powder coating. We've had requests for yellow, green, red, again, depending upon the application. They might indicate that red is more for activating a valve, and so they use it more as a shut-off rather than a blow gun.
And not only the yellow, it looks more safety, so it stands out for the operator to find out on a workstation as well. We also offer our swivels with this rubber protective covering. This is so that way it doesn't damage, as we spoke earlier about the assembly down the car line for the manufacturer, so it doesn't slap the paint. When you have this protective coating, it's a non-marring. This is what we were talking about up in the ceiling. You have a hose, and that way the operator can go from side to side where you're just not limited on movement. So these are a 360-degree swivel as well. So that is one of the popular items on the Grainger site that we offer as well.
Thank you for going through those products that are in Grainger. Do you have any special announcements or anything that you want to get out there to the Grainger sales force as well?
With the new announcement of ACL being part of our Flow Connections group, that is a new product for us and a new company that we're promoting within the organization. So ACL with the hygienic and new pharmaceutical and food and beverage clamp type fitting. So that is one of the new announcements as well.
And let's not forget the glycol-cooled data centers,
Glycol-cooled,
cosmetics, biopharma.
Yeah.
Yes. How about the stainless steel fittings?
Yes, stainless steel fittings. You just added a couple more styles for it to the product offering.
So again, we manufacture with modern equipment.
Yes.
We do have CNCs and Akuma, and that's what we use for our stainless steel products. And then lastly, we just seen more product being added as stocked by Grainger, quite a bit more so this year compared to prior years. We're grateful for that. Much rather see the product stocked than drop shipped.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that'll help lower the lead times down, getting those essential products to Grainger customers even quicker than they were once before. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Do you guys have any final words that you want to get out to the Grainger sales force before we close things up?
Well, we're hosting our ELF workshop later, given that we're wearing the red and white.
No, thank you guys for having us on the show. Questions, I know that you're going to show later our information. If you need anything, my email is out there, my phone number. I'm here at the facility. Anything that's needed, please reach out to the Foster team. We'll be happy to help identify some new product and new sales for you guys.
And James, did you know Holly's a second-generation employee? And over many summers, we had hired her son.
Yeah.
So we had 3 generations from Holly's family working at Foster Manufacturing.
That says a lot about the company that you work for. You know, the fact that they're able to retain generation after generation, and now you got some others coming in as well. So that's super cool to hear. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on our show here today. Again, this will be great information to share with the Grainger sales force. So thank you for your time, even if it was a little bit longer than anticipated. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
Thank you,
Thank
James.
you guys.